So you need to understand that thanksgiving is the key to miracles. If you're not thankful, you disqualify yourself from receiving a miracle. Thanksgiving is not a spiritual suggestion. It's a Bible command. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. That's what the Bible says. Paul told the church in Colossians 3:15, he said, let the peace of God rule your heart and mind and be thankful. Unthankful people do not get their prayers heard in heaven. You can pray on earth and the roof is like rubber. Your words hit the ceiling and just bounce right back on your head. Why? Because the Bible says, enter into his gates with what? Thanksgiving. And into his courts with what? Praise. Philippians 4:6, it says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. God is telling you that thanksgiving is the key that unlocks the door. When the Bible says enter his gates with thanksgiving, God is saying this is the key. It says you start out being thankful and suddenly you have put the key into the door that opens up my gates and brings you into my courts. And when you get in my courts, go from thanksgiving into praise. This is the key that puts you in the presence of God where miracles happen. When you start a conversation with God, start by being thankful. Start by listing all of the wonderful things that God has given you, like the breath that you breathe. Because it is he who has made us and not we ourselves. Start off by reminding yourself and telling him, God, I recognize that you are the potter and I am the clay. I recognize and I'm thankful that you're the master and I'm the servant. You are all knowing. You know what I don't. You are all powerful. You can do what I can't. You are omnipotent. You are everywhere all of the time. And right here, right now, I'm thankful because you are the one who sits upon the throne and you're watching over me. You start talking to God like that and suddenly he makes you his top priority. And this is when miracles happen. It begins when you come to the realization you are not in control. God is the only one who all the time in every situation has been in total control. You have to recognize that you're not in control. And the second you do, it liberates you, because the moment that you are free from understanding that you are not in control, you have the opportunity to get to know the person who is. Thanksgiving is the key to releasing God's power in your life. Go look at the account in Luke, the 9th chapter, of the fishes and the loaves. When Jesus received the fishes and the loaves, the disciples said, this is all we have, but what are these in front of so many? They were saying, ours is not enough. How did God take not enough and make it more than enough? The Bible says that he took it in his hands and he said, Father, I thank you. When he had given thanks for what he had went from not enough to more than enough. How do you treat your lack? How many times in our life do we take not enough and rather than take it and say, God, I thank you, we take our not enough and we say, if I only had a little more of this, or if I only had a little more of that, or I don't understand why everybody else has more than they need and I don't have enough of what I need. Oftentimes we take our lack and we use it as a source for complaint. But if you'll flip that, if you'll take what you don't have and you'll take what you do have and say, God, I thank you for what is here. Watch God bless it and break it and multiply it until your not enough becomes more than enough, because the God that we serve is an all-sufficient God and he can do more than you could ask, think, or imagine. When Jesus went to the tomb of Lazarus, what did he do? He told them to roll the stone away. And when the stone rolled away, he looked up to heaven and he said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. And it was the thanksgiving that Jesus offered the Father in heaven that made a dead man walk out of his grave. If you're standing in front of an impossible situation and you don't see how anything good can come out of this, if you're struggling to see how God's plan can be fulfilled when you've done all that you can and it still wasn't enough, don't worry about what you've been through. Don't worry about what they're saying about you. Don't worry about what the bystanders think. Do what Jesus did. Look to heaven and say, Father, I thank you. I thank you for the trial that I'm going through. I don't understand the trial, but I know you're with me me in the trial. I know you're teaching me to follow you. I know that you're teaching me to trust in you. I thank you that right now I don't have enough, but I'm talking to a God who is more than enough. I thank you that you can do what I can't. I thank you that you know what I don't. I thank you that nothing is impossible with you. Lord, I thank you for my business. It may not be going in the right direction, but I promise that when I give it to you, you're going to multiply it and you're going to increase it. I thank you that what you have in store for my tomorrow is far better than anything I've ever known today. God, I thank you for my season of a broken heart. I thank you for the dark valley that I'm walking through. I thank you for the burden that you placed upon my shoulders, because today I give it to you. You're in control. I thank you because you'll mend my heart and I'll be stronger than before. I thank you because in this dark valley, you're still the light of the world. I thank you for this present burden, for these light afflictions are not worthy to be compared with what you have in store for me when I get to the other side. But God,